General Introduction by Robert D. Jones. Philosophic Hydrolith, or Waterstone of the Wise, is an influential alchemical text that compares the alchemical process with that of the Gospels of Christ. The document had a long publishing history. First printed in German by Johann Ambrose Siebmacher in 1619 in Frankfurt, it was reprinted in 1661, 1703, 1704, 1709, 1710, 1743, and 1760. Latin translations were included in the Museum Hermeticum in 1625, 1678, and 1749, and it was included in Manget's Bibliotheca Chemica Curiosa in 1702, Hermetisches ABC in 1778, and the Magazine for Higher Natural Science and Chemistry in 1784. As the printing history of his text might suggest, the Sophic Hydrolith has been an incredibly popular alchemical treatise and was studied by many scholars including Robert Boyle and Isaac Newton. To begin to understand the work, a very brief explanation into the beliefs of the author is needed. From the outset, we are told that the alchemical process is one that looks to speed up the natural process of perfection, a kind of proto-evolutionary theory. The alchemists studied the natural world, and over time, things would either devolve or evolve depending on the catalyst affecting them. For example, an individual of poor intellect could become wise through the process of study and meditation. Now, alchemists looked at this natural process occurring all around them and came to the theory that this natural evolution could be sped up through human intervention if the proper catalyst was at hand. It was proposed that, with the correct catalyst, illness could be healed, the imperfect made perfect, and mortality conquered by the evolution to immortality. This catalyst is the Philosopher's Stone. For by the light of nature and divine revelation, they intuitively perceived that the Almighty, in his love to men, must have concealed in the world some wonderful arcanum by which every imperfect, diseased, and defective thing in the whole world might be renewed and restored to its former vigor. The process of obtaining, and more importantly, the process of applying the Philosopher's Stone is the topic of this text. The author breaks the topic into 4 parts in an attempt to describe the topic in a way that covers the fundamental elements of the great work. Part 1. In the first part of the document, we are told that the first step of the process is to commit oneself to God in an honest and selfless manner. This sentiment is mirrored in the great alchemical works and is important to unpack. Many faiths believe in a true self. It goes by many names, but is most concisely described as an individual's meaning of life, or the divine reason for why an individual is on earth. It is often the case that this meaning is known to us deep in our hearts, but we find it unachievable for any number of reasons, many of which are our own insecurities preventing us from blossoming into the being we were born to be. The author tells us that God can release us and allow us to attain the state of true self, but only if our desire to be this is for the correct reason, that being to be of service to God and the betterment of humanity. We are warned. If you in any way abuse the gift of God, or use it for your own glorification, you will most certainly be called to account by the Almighty Giver, and you will think that it would have been better for you if you had never known it. But why does God play such an important role in this? Can a human not manipulate nature of his own accord and thus achieve the same goal? In truth, this is not the case. We are told that we must align our body, soul, and spirit so that they work in harmony. Then we are told to have patience, the author stating that the artist can do nothing but sow, plant, and water. God must give the increase. Part 2. The second part of the Sophic Hydrolith is dedicated to explaining the process of attaining the Philosopher's Stone. Like other texts in the Hermetic Museum, the author tells us that the synthesis of the stone can be separated into 2 parts. First, the preparation of the matter, and second, the transmutation of the matter into the stone. Both the matter and the stone are described as being one thing in 3 parts, described in the table below: soul, spirit, body; sulfur, mercury, salt; Father, Holy Spirit, Son; fire,